the bigger homes are not being listed as much, and then the smaller homes are. So I'm kind of wondering where you have real estate investors who have the small homes, right? And now they're seeing that they have an opportunity to sell because they've got a lot of equity in them.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And so now they're letting those go. And if they're smart, they're letting those homes go that were the trouble homes.
Yeah, if they're smart. Speaking of trouble homes, I just saw on Facebook this morning, there's a house called The One. That's a 100,000 square foot house and just outside of Beverly Hills, I guess on an 8-acre cliff.
Wow.
That's being foreclosed on for 165 million. Wow. It's the guy was supposed to have it finished by 2017. So the builder still did not have it completed.
Wow.
It's now going to be on the market. I'm thinking like 288 million, little chunk change here or there. But it's just an example of, those high dollar houses, you need to be careful in that price range. Not 65 million or 165 or even $500 million houses. You need to even over 500,000, really depending on where you are.
I mean, where you are,
be careful.
Dictates that. I wanted to ask you a question on your portfolio that you have. How many of the houses that you have are under 1,400 square feet?
That's a great question. So let me think of that in my head.
See,
no pressure, hurry.
Yeah, for me, it's a really easy answer.
I'm thinking I don't have any
under 1,400.
I don't have any over 1,400.
I was gonna say I only have one over 1,400.
Yeah,
square
the
feet.
one that I did, I sold.
Yeah, and the one that I have, I don't know, I'll sell it or not.
Yeah,
We'll see.
I do have one more. I forgot about that one,
Yeah.
and that's actually on the market. I just put that on the market yesterday.
Yeah.
So. And that's out of 19 that I have right now that I'm involved in one way or the other. So, yeah.
Another thing that this article pointed out is that expectations for people buying starter homes have been raised so much thanks to HGTV.
Yeah.
That everybody needs to have this big open concept with all
granite countertops,
giant
new
homes,
cabinets, funky lights.
I'm not going to live in a 1,400 or less square foot home.
Yeah.
I mean,
to get started
to
with.
me, it's
So that's why they stopped building a lot of those.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting too. Like it's like 1,400 square feet with all the high end finishes, or a double wide, and it's like, can't there be some middle ground between those two?
Exactly right. That's exactly right.
Like that's like to me that's a.
But the smaller houses, when you're under 1,400 square feet, the repair costs, the rehab costs on them are less.
Mhm.
And, countertops are shorter, so you're not spending as much money there. So you can put a little bit more into it, do the luxury vinyl tile throughout rather than carpet. I mean, it just gives it a much better look. So those tiny houses, you can really trick them out to make them look good. And when you do that, you get more money for them.
Oh yeah.
And they sell quicker.
Well, I know Michelle and I's first home.
That would be his wife.
1,300 square feet.
13.
And, it had a vaulted ceiling and
Yeah,
open concept.
It
Had
was
a
very open.
double fireplace between the dining room, kitchen, and the living room. So it had plenty of square footage for us.
Mm-hmm.
It was just the two of us.
Yeah. I mean,
And
our first
we didn't
home.
need any more.
Our first home was 1,800 square feet, which we had a child at the time, but yeah, I remember we had to come in $5,000 over asking price. We got it, and then we sold it 8 months later for $20,000 more than we paid for it.
That's awesome.
That was in the Nashville metro area.
That was in
right?
Nashville, yeah.
I mean, you were in Kentucky, I think, right?
No, I was in Nashville,
Okay.
just outside Nashville.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But
Yeah.
that's a pretty hot market.
Yeah.
Wait, what? That was the end of 2017.
I think if you
Right.
had it now.
It just sold again. So it sold again a couple months ago for $40,000 more than we sold it for.
Wow. That's awesome.